Today I fucked up by wandering through Berlin almost naked and looking like a homeless person. So this happened around 2 months ago and most of my friends and family are still laughing about it. Let's start right at the beginning. I moved to Berlin around 2 months ago due to my studies at university. Great city. My hometown is nothing compared to this glorious metropole. But I digress the topic. So shortly after I moved to my new flat I started noticing some weird bubbles on my hands. I was concerned I somehow got warts and made an appointment at a nearby dermatologist. I got an appointment for Thursday, 6 days to go, but went to an open hour at a different doctor on Wednesday, with still keeping my appointment at the other place. In Germany we have a saying called, doppelt hält besser, which means something like double is better. Yes, it is very German. A week later I, still disgusted by my own hands, sit in the doctor's office and wait for her to enter. To be honest, at this point it was almost clear I was not infected with warts, as the bubbles just kept growing and started to freak the fuck out of me. She eventually entered and I told her my problem. It took her nothing but a quick look to diagnose me not with warts, but with fucking scabies. Boy, did I wish to have just warts. I told her I can't have scabies, as I haven't had skin-to-skin contact in the last weeks except 2 people I know very well, who both defiantly don't have scabies, but she was sure that I carry those disgusting mites on my body. The doctor then continued to tell me the proper treatment. 1. Put on this. She gave me a receipt, cream, and let it stick on your body for at least 8 hours. It will kill certainly all the mites that are on your body right now. 2. Use the vacuum cleaner and clean your mattress as well as all your carpets. 3. Wash all towels, bed sheets and other woolen materials you own on 60 degrees, 140 Fahrenheit. 4. All your belongings, that you cannot wash at 60 degrees need to be looked up in trash bags for at least a week. 5. Inform your flatmates about your situation, they all need to follow the same procedure. At this point I was done. I just moved into the flat and immediately was the scabies guy, but I had no choice. To kill all of the mites, we needed to work together and needed to be very precise. I told them and we did all of the tasks. Let me tell you, it was a mess with 5 people in the flat and only 1 vacuum cleaner and not enough cream for everyone, but somehow we managed to do all of it. I put on the cream, cleaned and washed everything and locked all of my stuff away. This is when the fuck up happened. In the morning I was mites free, but my clothes were not. So I could not put them on without getting infected again, or so I thought. Did you notice something? Right. I locked all of my clothes away and didn't buy any new ones. I similarly had no clothes for a whole week. At this point I started panicking. I couldn't ask my flatmates, as they probably had the same problem, just didn't think of it. I couldn't ask my family, as they live over 500 kilometers away and I knew nobody else in this immense city. So I did the only logical thing, I cut holes in my bed sheets and walked for over 15 minutes to a nearby clothing store. Being almost naked, I looked like the biggest hobo in the whole of Berlin. People who crossed my path avoided eye contact or changed the side of the street completely. With nothing on my body, except the sheets, my shoes and my credit card for the shop, I surely looked like a very strange person. I will never forget the look on the shop owner's face when I entered the store. Now, I am kinda tired of typing this long story that is not in my mother tongue, but let me tell you one more thing. The second dermatologist, to which I went on the same day just to ask her if I did the treatment correctly, looked at my hands and told me I haven't had scabies. He turned out to be right. I only had to deal with an eczema. So I did all of the hard work, exactly for nothing. Doctor falsely diagnosed me with scabies, which resulted in a walk across Berlin, being half naked. Thank God you live in Germany. Here in the USA, walking around in bed sheets will definitely get you ill looks, just for very different reasons. Not if you go to shop at Walmart. Your perseverance won't be forgotten. Your tale will live on for ages. Deutsche Bedclothes boy. You may have lost your decency, but you traded it for eternal glory. All hail. No shame for the King of Berlin. Long live to you, my sir. P.S. Seriously, don't be ashamed, you had to go through a lot. Hopefully now you smashed an unnecessary self-shame wall, thus gaining confidence. To no man. Warum hast du nicht online bestellt? I thought the scabies diagnosis was a little sus. Normally it's accompanied by insane itching. Yep, as someone that had scabies once, fuck that horrible itching. Oh, that was you? Question mark. Just kidding, but wouldn't it be funny if someone reads this who actually did see a naked except for bedsheets guy walking the streets of Berlin? This is Reddit, after all. It could happen. Today I fucked up by not using a bathroom when I had the chance, thus having to unleash into a shoe while driving on the highway. Throw away because my BF knows my username. This happened a couple of hours ago when I had gone to my cousin's house to pick up a piece of furniture. Both my parents were there with their SUV, and the plan was to load the furniture into their car, and then we would drive separately back to my place and unload it. While I was at my cousin's place, I felt that familiar rumbling in my stomach and knew that I would have to take a poop when I got home. I didn't think to go at her house because, to be honest, it didn't feel that urgent. Velp, about 3 minutes into the half-hour drive back, my gut went a rumbling again, but this time, I knew that this was going to be a messy one. I considered turning back around to my cousin's house and using her toilet, but I figured I could make it 27 minutes. I puckered my asshole as hard as I could, and a minute later the feeling subsided. I was in the clear. But oh no, I wasn't. With about 15 minutes remaining, I'm on the highway and the feeling comes back. And this time, it is very strong. I started to feel nauseous and warm, so I cracked the windows and turned up the radio to distract myself, while puckering as hard as I possibly could. But at that point I was in so much pain, and a little juice, I'm so sorry, started to slowly seep out despite my best efforts. At that moment, I knew I would not make it back home, and there was no shoulder to pull off on. That poo was coming out of me, and I had about 20 seconds to do something about it. I frantically looked around my car and saw in my back seat a pair of my BF's sneakers. He had left them there after a whitewater rafting trip, and it was the only thing resembling a container in my car. While driving, I pulled down my pants and put my jacket over my seat to protect it. I then positioned the shoe underneath me, and just let it out. I'm going to skip as many gross details as I can, but basically the shoe was getting really full, so I had to use all of my willpower to stop midstream and keep it from overflowing. I placed the full shoe on the passenger seat floor, and used some plastic newspaper bags to wipe myself. Luckily I only got a little on the jacket I was sitting on. I guess I have good aim. I'll add that one to my job resume. The worst was over. But I was very aware that my parents were also on their way to my place to help me unload my furniture from their car. So I pulled my pants back up and finished driving as fast as I could, without being reckless, so I could beat them to my place. Once there, I ran to my apartment and managed to change my pants and clean myself right before they arrived. I chatted with them as we moved the furniture into my apartment, the whole time thinking about the shoe full of shit in my car and how bad it was gonna smell. After they left, I went to my car and threw the loaded shoe away, successfully cleaning any minor spillage on my car floor that had occurred while racing home. I hand washed my jacket and will be putting it into my laundry machine for a second wash tonight. I told my BF that my dog chewed up his sneakers and I will be buying him a new pair. I don't really have anyone to tell this to because I'm so mortified, so that's why I'm posting here. I'm glad I did not get into an accident while pooping. Thanks for reading, and have a good week. Too long didn't read. I got explosive shits while driving and had to go into a shoe. This post is the reason that I have a butthole of steel. Explosive shits and you managed to direct it into a shoe? Nah, this shit is going in 360 degrees, all over the place. You had plastic bags but decided a shoe was best to shit in. It wasn't a big plastic bag like the ones you get at the grocery store, they were the long thin ones that newspapers come in. Since I would have had to hold it open with both hands, I just opted for the shoe. Sitting here on a toilet reading this, realizing I take it for granted. Honestly, having the shits and not being able to get to a toilet has always been one of my biggest fears. I've had a couple of close calls in my life, but I can't believe that this actually happened to me. Now it's no longer an irrational fear, it's very real, haha. I will never again pass up the opportunity to use a toilet when the tank is full. This is a funny story that one day will amuse your friends and family. Thanks for sharing. Today I fucked up by trying to be a domestic goddess. Obligatory. This started Monday but has been ongoing. Bit of backstory. I, 30F, live separately to my BF, 34 meters, but we have more or less been living together for most of this year, with him usually being at my house. It is also important you know that I am by no means skilled in the kitchen, at least not in the traditional way. I can make a super cocktail, fooing amazing coffee, and am so accident prone that it can be like watching a comedy sketch at times. Most of my cooking, or rare attempts at baking, are more of the it's the thought that counts or at least she tried style of dishes. Think over enthusiast 5-year-old trying to make a birthday cake or breakfast in bed. So accept the basics, my BF does most of the cooking. He's good at it and he enjoys it. Now back to Monday. I have a sudden urge to cook a veg shepherd's pie. We are both long-term veggies. Strange, but these sort of urges happen occasionally and don't often survive past me standing in a random aisle in the supermarket. However, this one does. So I head out, buy lots of fresh vegetables, potatoes, butter, milk and everything else I'll need. I get home around 2 hours before he finishes work, all pleased with myself at the thought of him coming back to a super clean, tidy house with a lovingly cooked hot meal waiting. The next 2 hours see me burn my finger, cut my finger, drop a pan on my toe, get kitchen cleaner in my cuts, stub a different toe running to put the clean laundry away, and bruise my knee slipping in the shower. All on 6 o'clock and both me and the house are clean and lovely. It smells great and for once I'm confident it will taste great too. And then my phone pings. He's going back to his house for the evening. Great. No worries, I'll pour a glass of wine, have a cheese toastie and put the dinner in the fridge. This is the FU. If only I had put it in the freezer. Q 6 PM Tuesday. Same text. Great. Now it's lunchtime today and I have no idea if he'll be at mine tonight or his. Only problem is he's super fussy about open food and dates, and I just know he won't eat something that was cooked on Monday. So that £12's worth of food will end up being eaten by just me. Just me with a glass of wine and my moving rock, my inherited tortoise who hates me, for company. And that £12 is a lot to me at the moment, as I was made redundant due to the dreaded plague of 2020. Looks like it's instant noodles for me for a while. Too long didn't read, cooked an expensive meal, food fussy BF hasn't come to mind since. It's going to end up with me, alone, eating it all, nursing my war wounds, with nothing but a glass of wine and a pet tortoise, aka moving rock, for company. Lesson learned, always freeze food. Edit, OMFG, my first ever award. Thank you, kind stranger, you've made a very sad girl very happy. Leftovers last a week. Play this game all the time called Will It Make Me Sick? Even when it should, it doesn't. Except an old string cheese that sat out too long. That hurt my tum-tum. You're most likely developing a legit resistance to some bacteria and fungi that way. Just be mindful when serving other people, lol. They might have weaker stomachs.